Ha ha. Mr. Cooks, we are live. Are you ready to do this thing, brother?
Absolutely,
Let's
absolutely.
run it.
What's going on?
KTTV, giving you what you need. Motivation, education unleashed. H-Town representing, we forever keep it rolling. Join the conversation with inspirational stories. Thought-provoking, feel that energy. Kendrick Thomas aiming to lift the community. True indeed, tune in, come and see. Giving you what you need. KTTV, let's go. Hey, KTTV. Hey.
Hey, we're going to keep it running. What it do, KTTV? This is KT, and I'm coming at you live with another episode of Education Unleashed. And on tonight's episode, I have the man himself. Y'all should have seen this brother at the boys' conference, Mr. Jeffery Cooks Jr. How you doing tonight, Mr.
What's
Cooks?
going on? What's going on, man? I'm great, man. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man, I should have went ahead and said doctor, man, because we know it's almost the time, man. Just go and break it in right. But
We're
I want to
working
say,
on it.
man, yes, sir. I know you got it covered, man. Just saying thank you for taking some time out of the schedule, brother. I know we coming down to it. Today was our last day with kids. I don't know about y'all, but man, just getting it done. So I know it's busy at this time, brother.
Right, for sure.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely.
So, man, as we jump into that, man, my first question is always to do a wellness check with everybody that comes through the neighborhood. So, how are you? And as we know of the hustle and the bustle on APs at the end of the year, how are you
Yeah.
finding that balance for work and family?
Oh man, it's difficult for sure. I really don't believe there's a such thing as really finding a balance necessarily.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's more prioritizing
Okay.
because I got to put one foot in front of the other. I kill myself. So being married, 2 kids, I got to make sure they come first. And then from there, man, I just try to, script that thing out as best as I can, and I keep it rolling.
Keep it rolling, man. Come on, man.
Absolutely.
And speaking of that, on top of the work, we got to talk about that doctor, man, because
Yeah.
I just wanted to jump into that. But before we do that, give us a little bit of your background on this education thing, and even the work that led up being to a part of the Man Up as we talk about mentoring tonight.
Oh, okay. So, well, it's funny, man. I went to Stephen F. Austin for a legal degree. So I'm a liberal arts major. And one of my frat brothers, he asked me, what I was doing after I graduated. And I wasn't quite sure, man, but I did, tell him that I thought about teaching. And I said, well, I don't have a teaching degree. He said, you don't need one. So I said, tell me more. And, I'm one of those Texas teachers babies.
Mm-hmm.
So I went through that program, applied, did the internship in East Texas. And then I came down to Houston, did some work in corporate America. And then I started subbing. Subbed at a few schools. And then my father-in-law actually said, hey, man, we need a long-term sub. We have a teacher on maternity leave. Can you help me out here? So, of course, I go there, and I never left. From there, became a tutor, academic tutor, and then acquired a classroom, 5th grade ELA. Did some great things with those kids, man. Yeah, man, we had a bunch of kids, too, man. It was tough. And then I had a lot of people pouring into me saying, man, get your master's. I don't think you belong in this setting forever. I think, there's more to you. So I got my master's. Then I got my principal certification. And during that time, I got promoted to teacher specialist. And from there, man, now with A-Leaf.
With A-Leaf, man. Come on,
Yeah.
look, Miss Robinson pulled up on us. She say, good evening. My Dr. Thomas and Mr.
What's
Cook.
going on, Mindy?
Hey,
Sister.
pleasure on the Man Up committee, man. Look, she stays showing up, man. Riding. That's good to know, brother. Like you say, man, I love hearing coming from those ranks, man. I tell people all the time, I started as a para, doing sped transcribing for a student, man. So being a one-on-one, all the way up to this, being able to lead people. But people that just keep their head down, man, and just keep crossing the levels. Because when you hit that next level.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir. And so it's only right, man, that you cover that up with the doctorate, man. And so when you think about the doctorate, talk to me about what is the concentration, and how do you even plan on applying that to what you learned to your new role coming up for next year?
Yeah, so Baylor, my concentration is K through 12 leadership, and Baylor does a great job in giving us opportunities to meet current people in practice. So other superintendents, and they get to tell us their story. And as you listen to that story, you get to kind of envision yourself in that role and how you will handle things, and if this is even right for you. You hear some stories, you're like, man, I don't think I want to do all of that. But the idea is to be a leader in K through 12 education and actually get your superintendent certification, because Baylor wants to be the pioneers of delivering great leaders into superintendent situations. So that's kind of where I'm at right now, man, and I'm enjoying it. Almost to the finish line, couple of classes left before I'm AB D. And so, yeah, man, it's exciting.
Man, what you thinking about? And I know you have to get that dissertation in. So how has it been going, or what is the plan for it? What area have you been thinking?
Yeah, very transparent here, man. Anybody who has their doctorate knows that that's not an easy process.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of ups and downs in that. I mean, you can write a great chapters 1 through 3 and then have to scrap it if you have an epiphany or have to edit that. And so my biggest focus right now is professional development and how it impacts teacher efficacy. So I'm looking to figure out what is the best type of professional development that will not only lead to teacher confidence but retention, because that's one of the biggest things that research is showing, that teachers are leaving because they just don't have that confidence. They're worn out, and then they don't have that support at times. And so I want to get deeper into that subject or topic so that I can apply that as well.
Most definitely, brother. Yeah, well, boy, that's gonna be needed right there. You gonna turn that into a book, brother?
Maybe,
Because,
yeah.
go and drop that, man. Amazon bestseller. You can get that figured out, man. Because look, that PD. But most definitely, those are the points, man. And it boils down to, man, just give me some hope. Let me know, because around October things get very different in that business.
Absolutely.
And so that's when those times of that support, of that being able to lean, being able to feel confident in what you're doing, comes in. So most definitely important measures, man. So congratulations on that, brother.
Thank you.
I know you'll be crossing the finish line in no time.
Man, looking forward to it.
So, man, tonight all about mentor programs. Ms. Robinson just shouted us out for the Man Up Committee. Brother, talk to me a little bit about how you got into just the whole mentoring and working with young men.
Yeah, so when I first started subbing and teaching, I actually asked one of the coaches at the elementary school, could I kind of hang around just for a love of basketball? And, I worked with him year after year until I became the head coach of that campus. And that was a big part of my mentorship and a big part of my success in the classroom, because many of my players were my students. Yeah. And so I never really looked at it as mentorship at the time. I just wanted to be a good example for, these young men. And I wanted them to stay out of trouble. The work that we put in as coaches at that campus reduced a lot of referrals and suspensions, and so over time you kind of look at it and people say, hey, man, you're doing great things with the kids, and the parents like, hey, what are we doing next year? Are you coming back? And then the light bulb kind of comes on and you're saying, well, I might be making an impact, similar to kind of what we talked about, just having a good heart for doing the right thing and make sure our students have better opportunities kind of led me to this. So, yeah.
Yeah. And what grade was that again?
So coaching was 3rd through 5th grade students.
Man,
yeah.
Real.
And
look,
so now you have to break it down to them as low as you can so they can, you build them up. Mm-hmm.
Man, and so, I mean, it's still the same. I did high school football, track, powerlifting. Mm-hmm. And when I tell you the work that I did in elementary all the way up to the work in high school was no different, man. It was still meeting them where they were, breaking down to them the examples, trying to give them key qualities of real life. But you're always fighting them demons on that outside, man. And it's like they always at their fork in the road, man. So glad to be in the field with you, brother. And so I guess tonight, as we shift the conversation, more of having experience with mentor programs, with working with young men. I always like to create the show, as I told you when we was off the air, for people who are doing things as far as in education. People said, okay, well, I'm looking for a principalship, or I'm looking for that AP. Watch the show. So I watched this episode. Even people trying to be teachers, get better at their craft, and so many things. And so I want to make one of the shows for tonight like that, man, to where we're talking about what that mentor looks like, what that program looks like. And so I guess just jumping into it, when you were over there doing coaching, did you begin to put a program together, or have you thought about really creating a program and implementing it?
Absolutely. I mean, I thought about it so much, man, but it was so much work with the coaching and the teaching.
Yeah.
And I really didn't know at the time how to gather a group of individuals who thought like I did, had the same values and the same morals, about, student outcomes. So my mentorship program was really at the time, my kids, my students.
Yeah. Okay.
And as I became an administrator, I really started to dive into what can I do from this seat to impact our kids. And it's crazy because the timing of meeting Dr. Creer really impacted, and helped me kind of fast forward that thought process into what we, know today.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, man, Man Up is one of those, events or programs that's one of the biggest so far. And
Yeah.
I attribute that to the small wins as a teacher.
Yeah, man. Even looking at those programs, like I said, I created a mentor program for my elementary school, and so we've been running that since 2014. And so being able to look and just grow throughout the years, being able to see, okay, first kids need this, not necessarily a father figure, but just somebody they can relate to. Oh, versus, okay, this is another year they come in, okay, more of a father figure now, disciplinarian role. So just being able to see those over the time, man. And so then thinking about the characteristics, as you was working in that, let's say I want to create a program right now. What are some of the key qualities or characteristics you think a mentor needs to be effective, brother?
Well, I think the mentor, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, so the mentor has to be stable within himself or herself, first of all, because we all have a past. We all have some demons that we fight. And it's very hard to impact others when you're still battling with those things at a high level. And so I really do believe you have to have some self-awareness before you get into that. I did have the opportunity to work with other mentor programs and take notes. And what I noticed is sometimes we kind of fought to grab some of the first people that were willing. So their word willingness is very important as well, because you can't get into this thing without a willingness. And then you have to have some patience as well. One thing people don't understand, and most people are scared to say this, is you're not going to save every child.
Yeah.
Now, let me put that into context. If I try to save every child, if I can't save every child, the irony is I don't know what child I'm going to save or impact. So now I have to try to save every child, right? When I get into the mindset of I got to save this child, and that doesn't happen on my time, I can get disappointed and quit before I even begin. So now I have to, hope and pray that the next, level or next area of their life, they have somebody that can pick up where I left off, and I have to move on to the next student. And so what I try to do is make sure I focus on all kids the same way, give them all the same opportunities, let them know there's something out there greater than what they think it is, because I was one of those kids. And then I make sure I check up on them. I make sure that I have conversations with them. Sometimes it's not even formal. It's just having lunch with them in the cafeteria. Whatever I can do to kind of gauge where their mind and their heart is at the time. If those students do not leave me, making a conscious decision to do better, I cannot get disappointed in that.
Yeah.
Did I do the best that I could? The answer is yes. Okay, now let's hope that the next person can pick up where I left off. And I do think there's great expectations later on for that child if everybody can kind of have that mindset moving on. So, just don't go in being disappointed when a child doesn't turn out the way you thought they should have turned out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all, man. Like you say, it's I learned, like you say, to not project that, but just build them up, grow
Absolutely.
them from where they at. And then, man, all I can keep doing is just putting that positive in front of them, putting those good models in front of them, being that good model, and then seeing where they take it. Because, like you say, you'll go crazy trying to make them drink
Oh,
after you
yeah.
lead them to the water. Hold up, we
Absolutely.
got what Miss Robinson say. Yeah, she said that all the time. I think she was talking about yeah, when you was talking about the kids, man, and saving everybody, man.
Yeah.
Not at my level. Yep, man. And look what Jeffery say, man, speak on it. Yes, what's up there, Jeff?
That's a great name. Great last
Hey,
name,
man.
man.
Look, man, that boy William Jeffery, man. Hey, look, man. They're better doing some great things, man, over there at
Awesome, man.
Flipboard, man. Yeah,
Okay.
man. So
Okay.
now, as you look at this next year, I know
Yeah.
you done dug into the school, looked into the data. So I think in that role, brother, you're gonna have to kind of figure out how you gonna make that impact, man. So have you thought about or looked into any goals or aspirations for how you want to impact next year?
Yeah, man. All of my ideas and things that come to me are either in my sleep or just being busy. I rarely sit down with a pen and a sheet of paper and say, man, let me try to create a plan.
Yeah.
But before I even got started with these ideas and what I want to do, my biggest thing was seeing what, Principal Clark wanted to do. As an AP, my job is to support her, do what she has me to do to reach that vision and mission of that campus.
Most definitely.
And so, beyond that, man, if, doing what I do best, reaching out to the community, hosting, major events, branding our campus in such a way that people can't deny and overlook our campus. And that's big for me.
Yeah.
I want you to know who Best Elementary is,
Yeah.
and so, and I think what happens is once you create that brand, you get, major support from your stakeholders, of course, but then the students and the teachers and the parents, especially the students and the teachers, they start taking more pride, in their instruction. Students take more pride in their learning. And this is not to say they haven't. I'm coming in brand new, and my job is to learn about the culture of that school and the A-Leaf community first. So, while I have ideas, I'm trying to put the brakes on it a little bit and just be a listener and a learner first so that I can serve the best way possible.
Man, come on, man. That was it right there, brother. That's it. Like you said,
trying.
coming in and being there, follow up. But yeah, because we know it's gonna get real, man.
Absolutely.
We know, man. And so I look forward to the work that you're gonna do. Like I said, we got the man up next year, and so being able to have you in the house during the day, is also gonna be be powerful too, because it's gonna be them times, man. And so I look forward to being able to just connect with everybody like that. I was talking to my partner Robinson today. Just like I say, putting things together to be able to make the best for our community and the students that we serve. So yeah, brother, it's going down, man.
Yeah.
So now,
I can't wait.
working, thinking about challenges, as you work with programs, as you work with these kids, what kind of challenges have you faced in being able to corral students and build from what you needed?
Well, one of our biggest enemies of mentorship is time.
Yeah.
And so, sometimes you can't be so formal and try to clock all of those hours. Like, you have to sometimes pick up at any point of the day.
Yes, sir.
And so I learned that the hard way. You want to pull kids out of class. You want to talk to them. You want to be able to take them to lunch as much as possible, have those deep conversations. But real-time investment beats all of that. Like, it trumps all of that. That real-time investment when that student is having a bad day and they don't see you coming down the hall and you put that hand on their shoulder and they turn around and they see you and you say, hey, what's going on, son? Talk to me. And at that moment, they know they don't have just, this big tyrant. They have somebody that actually cares about them. They could possibly be a father figure. And then they really open up to you. And then now you can start digging. For me, it's no different than reading data and saying, what are my next objectives going to be and how I'm going to get there, meet these goals. So, if I find a student that suffers with anger issues or anything like that,
Yeah.
well, I'm not going to mentor them on not stealing. So I really want to target what makes you mad, like what's going on. I had one student, he has a fight at least every other day. And, I've had people come to him, like police officers, just have those conversations with him and say, hey, man, this is not the route you want to go down, blah, blah, blah. But it was one specific day. He came in, he was mad, and I just kind of stared at him. And I said, I'm going to call your father. And when I said I'm going to call his father, I did that intentionally because we always call his mother. When I said that, he said, call him. If he touched me, I'm going to blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
Well, I knew being 9, 10 years old that was a place of hurt.
Mm-hmm.
So I dug more into that. And eventually he's on the phone crying with his dad saying, I love you and I just want to see you more.
Yeah.
That's real time investment. That's what I look to do. And I look to build those relationships with those students. And the roadblock in that, it's time, but also it could be getting out of your own head, your own biases. I think this should happen like this, or I think that kid should act like that. Well, you don't live in that kid's shoes.
Yeah.
And so time and bias is two roadblocks that I've always tried to overcome and look from their angle, and their point of view.
Yeah, man. Look, I think about me starting the club in 14 as a teacher, right? So, man, I'm in the class. I got another teacher. I got another parent because I was sped, right? So I got this support. I'm able to leave. I'm able to do meetings during school. I'm able to do this. Yeah. Fast forward, same school. I'm the AP, and I still got the club. But now it's no other men that's gonna do it. So my boy Coach Davis helped me, but now he PE. So then I'm pulling him out the PE class. Some days he can't make it. We think about getting together with the parties, the fun, and dude, I try to do fundraising. So I'm up early trying to do the principalship. So now my duty station where I try to stay in, is right here where I'm selling pencils. So man, but just doing anything that we can do to get these boys ahead, man. And so, in your opinion, when we doing all that sacrifice, how do you think those programs or that time benefits the overall campus? And did you see that when you were working with other programs?
Yeah, there were some pros and cons to it. You'll have times where the teacher or even some of the administrators want to send the students to you every time they get mad. Find your mentor, find coach or find your teacher. And sometimes that's a weapon when they do that. They use it as a weapon.
Yeah.
And then the student can make, bad habits and bad choices to use that as an excuse. So that was an issue at times. But as far as you kind of spoke on having that help, right?
Yeah.
When you don't have that, right, it's very difficult to cover a multitude of kids and a multitude of problems. So you have to be creative in how you either share that responsibility or how many students you take on at one time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Man, I had 30. It was 30. We was deep, man. It was, yeah, man. On the sip on that one, man. Because I'm telling you,
look,
man.
My classroom size was 42 kids, man.
Ooh.
And out of that 42 kids, it was more than 50%, that had discipline issues.
Yeah. Yep.
I get it. And I hats off to you, man, for one, starting that program, but two, hanging on to that program even in your administrative role.
Yeah, man.
Because the responsibility change. Most people don't understand, like, you can't just come to work the way you used to. You can't do what you used to do. You have to be more organized. And so hats off to you for not, giving up in those efforts.
Dude, we could do it. I did it this year. You know, this was my old elementary school. And shout out to Miss Robinson, dude. I would do my check in, and then I'm
Yeah,
shooting straight over to the elementary school, work with them boys, then come on back to ALC, man. So like, look, man, we got to be intentional about that thing. Like you say, let's see, Coach Jeffery, what did he say? Real time investment is what I call deliberate practice. Most definitely,
absolutely,
most definitely. He said it takes educators with vision to see those obstacles. And I guess talking
absolutely.
about that, like you say, that time being our one, and most definitely weaponized mentorship or cowardly mentality. Come on, man, and where it makes it
Yeah,
feel like you say
yeah,
you almost now the bad cop, like in any
absolutely.
situation, and so
Yeah, the whole
they take
purpose
the
is
mentor
blown.
role away. Yeah, man.
Yeah. Like, come on, man. I had this kid on a great trajectory, and you just tanked it.
Yeah, yeah, man, for real, and that will happen though. But yeah, I'm telling you, and so that's why being that administrator and mentor, it's harder, I think, for me in the high school level, because man, you know, they just see you as the op. Like it ain't no
Right,
getting
right, right,
around
right.
the high school, man. You the op. Man. I can't be
Right,
up here talking about this with you. But
right.
at the elementary, you know, they still innocent, man. So I have found it to be a little harder to be in a room with them because it is a little shaky, and I can
Hmm.
feel that energy. But like I say, elementary though, we gonna rock with them boys, man. That's
Absolutely,
why I look
absolutely.
forward to that. You know what to say on purpose. Yeah. Look at he say
Wow.
you speaking on it, man. Yeah, man. So man, looking ahead,
Right.
what are long term visions or aspirations you got, man, for the future of the mentoring programs and thinking about what we talked about beforehand about next year, man. What are some things that you would like to see grow in?
Yeah. So I would like to see, um, like, man up, come down a few levels,
Yeah.
and then also the mentor programs that we do have at A Leaf. I would also like to see segmented time for just bonding, conversation. We do have that when it comes to, kind of after the program, don't get me wrong.
Mm-hmm.
But beforehand, where kids cannot be distracted with any of the extracurricular activities.
Mm-hmm.
And then let's sign you up, with somebody, and let's see if we can kind of track that data and say, this is how this is how the mentor has impacted the student's life.
Mm-hmm.
As far as me in goals and everything like that, man, I'm trying to take it one day at a time. I do have aspirations to be a superintendent at some point. But I'm not the type of leader that wants to skip around.
Yeah.
Started from the bottom, and that's just kind of how I like it.
Yeah.
I like being able to work through different levels, learn different things, meet new people, and then use all of that to impact my next role. And so, if we say short term, man, graduate.
Hey, let's get it done.
Graduate. Can I get out of school? And then after that, man, I think that the creativity will increase. I think time will increase to do bigger and better things.
Yeah.
But as of now, man, just be the best leader I can be and get out of school.
Look, man, we made it out. We made it out for the summertime. What's the plan
Yeah.
for the summer, Mr. Cooks? I know you got something up your sleeve.
School.
Woo!
I got
Hey,
5 weeks. Got
stay
five
on the
more
go.
weeks, and and then try to spend as much time with my family before
Yeah.
I embark on this new journey with A Leaf ISD. I'm excited, but I also want my family to have me for a little while. They've been very supportive of me. Sitting in my office and writing and preparing for great opportunities such as this one. No complaints. They don't bother me. They say they're proud of me, so I can't let them down. So for right now, it's finish school and spend some time with the family.
Yeah. Now, man, before we jump out of here,
Yeah.
at the Boys Club conference, you dropped a nice message on it, man.
Okay.
Can you just leave us with a little bit of let's say we got this mentor and he need to get that fire speech to his first group, man. What you got for him?
Well, the first thing is whatever you want to talk about to other kids or mentees needs to come from a place of experience and heart. One of my biggest pet peeves is listening to people who sound good but do not live out anything that they say.
Yeah.
When I spoke on integrity at that conference, I meant what I said. Am I perfect? No. Do I make mistakes? Absolutely. But I also analyze my every move and everything that I've done. Once we get off of this, I'll analyze this. Right? And so make sure that you're intentional. Make sure that it means something to you. Make sure you do not go in this for clout. Make sure that you believe in what you say. Because if you can't stand up in front of somebody and say what you believe in, you don't deserve that microphone. Those students will take that confidence and run with it, right? And for me, that integrity piece that I spoke on is the only reason I'm sitting in front of you today. Because while I was running next to, young men that decided to take shortcuts and be a liar, I said, no, I'm going to do things the right way as much as I can, nothing intentionally wrong. And I'm just going to trust that the good Lord is going to handle everything from there. And he has not failed that. So if you're speaking to a group of students, if you want to start a mentorship program, if you want to be a part of one, that's fine. Just make sure you know your why. Make sure that it's heartfelt, and make sure that you speak from experience, and I think you'll be fine.
Man, mic drop, exit right. That's a wrap. Look, man, I sure appreciate you for stopping through, dropping that knowledge on us. Looking forward to having you back on as Dr. Jeffery Cooks, man, so we can talk about this professional development, because that's also very important, man. I got one of my first year teachers today. He said, man, I know I got something for the summer, man. I need to get my plans out, because once again, having them eager to just get better, man. And so looking forward for you coming back to sharing that. And once again, thank you today for dropping that knowledge on us about the program. Brother, the best is yet to come, man. Let's get ready.
I receive it, man. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me so much. Man, I couldn't be more honored to be on there with you, man.
I got a boy say, Coach, say, great show, fellas. Thank you there, man.
Thank you, sir.
Look at Ms. Robinson. Great trajectory. I agree. It's about to get jumped.
Up from here. It's up.
Hey, man. I always say, man, my favorite saying is, we just keep it cracking like chopped lips, brother. Say, man. Look, man. Once again, that'll do it for us, y'all. All right, y'all. This is KT for KTTV signing out. 100.
This is Darnell with Broadcast Houston.
This is Dr. Tamara Beckford.
Hey, this is Candace.
This is London Underwood.
This is Kirsten Bass with Inner City Greens, and you're watching.
Y'all are now tuned in to
KTTV.
KTTV.